This video is for my Peach class, and obviously I'm not here today, so I just want to go over that homework that you guys have to do for today. So, haciendo una cita con el médico, pause this video as you need to, but I'm just going to go through the answers. So, for your skits that you're going to be working on, starting to work on today a little bit, you have to, the first part of it is to book an appointment with a doctor. So, you want to be able to do that and call the doctor to make the appointment. And so, here we go. So obviously you don't want to copy this conversation for your own skits, but these are just little things you could do. So when you call the doctor, you're probably going to say something like buenas tardes or hola, and so they'll greet you on the phone. So you say, sí, buenas tardes, señorita. And then so we want to say we would like. So usually it's more polite in Spanish when you're booking something or asking for something. So instead of saying quiero, I want to make an appointment, you might say quisiera, I would like, quisiera hacer una cita. So a cita is an appointment or a date with somebody too, like tengo una cita con mi novio, or quisiera hacer una cita con la doctor Vania Torres. So another person's going to be the doctor. And then the recepcionista is going to say something like, para qué día? And in this case, she says requiere, like requires. Do you require? But the formal. Otherwise, it would be requieres. Do you require? But this is usted. Requiere su cita. And then she asks, tendrá. And you haven't learned tendrá, which is the future tense yet. But you could also say something like, hay espacio para hoy. So instead of saying tendrá espacio para hoy, you can say, hay espacio para hoy. Hay espacio para hoy. Or you could also say, hay una cita para mañana, for example. So these are just ideas for your own skits to be able to decide on what day you're going to come in. She says, hoy no. Ya no tengo espacio para el día de hoy. Tengo espacio, or I think she says maybe una. Tengo espacio or una para el día. And then I can't remember what number it was, but 25. A las 12 del día. And then she says, ¿le parece bien? So basically, like, does that seem good for you? Formal. If it were te parece bien, it would just be like the more informal. And then she says, no puede ser un poco or poquito antes, like a little, can it be a little bit sooner? Es que me siento un poco mal. She says, mira, tengo una, and look, I have one para el día 24 a las 11:30, le parece? And then that could be le parece bien. Does that seem good to you? Sí, muy bien. And then sí, es mañana. It's tomorrow, ¿verdad? True. And then she says, sí, para mañana. Okay. Está agendada. Or you might have had something a little different. Okay. It is basically like booked. Está agendada. Este, which means So in Spanish, a lot of times we use this word este. Su cita a las 11:30. El nombre del paciente. So you're going to have to ask the name of the patient on the phone. ¿Cuál sería, perdón? And then she says, mi nombre es Elisa Garcia Cruz. And then any telephone number, número telefónico. Or you could say, ¿cuál es su número de teléfono too? So, ¿cuál es su número de teléfono? Su número de teléfono. So when you do it, you want to ask that question a little differently. ¿Cuál es su número de teléfono? And then she gives the number. And then so queda agendada. Agendada is like booked. Queda, it remains booked. Su cita para el 25 a las 11:30. Muy bien, muchas gracias, señorita. Hasta luego. And she says, hasta luego. Again, like see you later. Para servirle. So basically like to serve you. And so what you were supposed to do here is you were supposed to put down words that you didn't know. So make sure that you did that part too. Translate any words from the conversation that you were not aware of before this, before we went over this now. So right in Schoology, you're going to see a few things. So if you go to this Unidad 6 folder, this last one that we have here, you're going to click on that. And then there's going to be these Dr. Skits instructions here. So if you click on that, you're going to see Dr. Skits instructions and rubric. So the Dr. Skits instructions are going to look like this. You already watched the video where you had to book the appointment with the doctor. So you did that. So the next video that you want to watch is this one here. And I will put this in updates just in case. You should be able to grab it like this. So when you watch it, you're going to watch, so you can skip over like the first couple seconds of it to go to the phrases. But you want to just watch this video today in class, just like about 8 minutes of it. You can watch it with a friend if you want, but have like a notebook in front of you because you're trying to get some inspirations on how you'll start to talk to the doctor or what you're going to say to the doctor in general. So so you can skip over, basically start around 1 minute and 10 seconds or so, or 7 seconds. And then you can watch it all the way up to about 8 or 9 minutes. And so it's just a couple minutes of the video. But just write down some phrases that you can use in your skip. So if you look over here, though, let's just go back here for a minute. So the first thing you have to do is you have to decide who's going to be the doctor or the receptionist, because you have to call first, and who's going to be the patient. So you're going to call in, you're going to make the appointment with the doctor, basically through the receptionist. You make sure it makes sense because you have the rubric where I'm going to grade you. So if you look here, this is the rubric. And I'm going to be looking at very specific things and going through and seeing if you did these things. So number one is you use vocabulary from the video in class to book the appointment, clear comprehension and pronunciation. You completed the task from start to finish logically, getting all the information you normally would get to book an appointment on the phone. Also, grammar is going to count for both of these sections. So make sure, if you want, you can have me take a look at it like in class. You want to make sure that this looks natural too. So when you're talking to your friend, don't have your computer. Make sure you have a printout of your conversation, because you have to have it not memorized, but I don't want to have it look like you're really reading from the paper. Try to rehearse it a little bit. So you can look at that. But so you want to book the appointment, and then you're going to go to the doctor and you're going to tell them about what's going on. So this is where you can use this video to help you. You're going to use that survey that you asked each other where you said like, tengo mocos or tengo escurrimiento. So you want to ask we said about 5 questions from the form. You can also use any of your vocab from the unit to say like what's going on with you. The doctor, you would have like filled out that form before you went to the doctor to say like the health survey, let's say. And then he's going to ask you the questions, but then he's going to ask you then, did you experience those symptoms when you were a child using the imperfect? So you want to say like tenías and eras, or eras alérgica a penicilina, por ejemplo, cuando eras niña. And I do have those phrases in the imperfect on the board, on the side, if you want to take a look at that. And then at the very end, you want to make sure that, and this is yours, this is Spanish 3, you want to make sure that the doctor makes some recommendations for your care. So make sure the doctor makes recommendations at the end. So like I would use some commands for that, like toma antibióticos por 7 días, or ve a la farmacia y recoge la medicina. So, or es importante descansar, for example. You have some things like that, or es urgente no ir a la escuela, for example. So watch the video, take some notes. Once you're done with that, you can work on your skits. However, there's one other thing that you need to know. You're going to go to the front of the room. So you want to pick up one of these articles. And so once you finish your skit today, or you have a little time, I just want you to annotate. So the first question is, it says 13% de los adultos de Estados Unidos son adictos a la comida cacharra. You have to find out what comida cacharra is in inglés first, but I want to know por qué y a los latinos les afecta más. ¿Por qué? So that's the question for number 1. ¿Por qué hay mucha adicción a la comida chatarra con la población latina? They're saying there's even more adicción than with just like, let's say, the average American. And then here, what you have to do is you have to annotate the article. So you want to go through características de la comida cacharra and any words that you don't know. Like, for example, you might not know alimentos. Look it up. Textura, you might not know it. Look it up. I should see these annotated and marked up by the time you come back to class. You want to go all the way to the end, and that's it. So you do not, this is the end where it says sal. If you would like to, you can just put the 15 words that you learned looking through the article, just put them here. And then you do not have to answer the questions yet until you come back to class. So you should really just go up to this 15, and this is going to be due by next time I see you. However, today in class, I would like you to work on your skits because you are presenting next class. So today is Tuesday, and then you're going to have class actually tomorrow. So I'll give you a little time at the beginning of class tomorrow to rehearse a little bit, but spend the time today writing the skits and then rehearsing as much as you can. Follow the rubric that you have that I talked about at the beginning of this video. And that's it. All right. Gracias, chicas. Adios.